Hello and mobility, week 2 already. This morning, whenever you're watching this, can you tell what time I'm recording this? You don't need any equipment. So last week I used the option of a band or a strap or a belt or whatever you got at home. This evening we're doing a lot of hip work. So kind of working on the glutes, the hamstrings and the hips, just to try and open the hips up. Generally I find a lot of people who sit at a desk all day to kind of sat in this position, obviously legs down, typing all day, all around here, and especially the hip flexors, get particularly tight. So hence today, we've got more of a focus on hips. So we're going to start with a little bit of lower body stuff in the way of squats to get the hips and knees opened up, and then we're going to really work on strengthening and stretching the glutes and the hamstrings. So to begin with, what I would like you to do is just come to a kneeling position, and it's up to you, you can put your hands on the floor if you want, but all I'd like you to do is let the bum push towards the floor, and then push back up, bringing it all the way up to upright. So just looking at getting the knees moving, getting the hips going, and as you come forwards, just squeeze the bum at the front of the movement, just to get them glutes working as we do it. So bum sits on the heels, and then forwards. Just like tap the heels without actually resting down, just get moving through that. I'm just going to go for about 10 of these, just to get going, and then we're going to go something similar to what we did last week. Let's get the hips and knees moving just a little bit more. Nice, guys. And then place your hands on the floor. Feet go just out behind you, but not fully extended. Let the bum push back, and then bring it forwards. So as you come forwards, the shoulders probably come over the hands a little bit. And just try and straighten the wrists, straighten the knees, and the hips out fully. I'm just going to go for about 10 of these. Nice, and rest of there. Now if you just come onto the side, I'm just going to stick one leg straight out. Other things, guys, if you've got a tracker, don't get started, because how do we know if we don't track it? There we go. Put the leg out to the side and turn the foot to a flat on the floor, so you feel the stretch down the inside of the thigh. So I'm just going to put my hands on the floor in front of me. I'm just going to move slightly forwards and backwards as I'm doing it. And as I'm doing that movement, it's just to find that point where I get a deep stretch down the inside of the thigh there. I'm just going to hold it there just for 5-10 seconds or so. I'm just going to keep holding. And then same on the other side. So my other knee goes on the floor, the leg extends, and I'm out there as well. Just coming back onto the front. Turn the flat of the foot onto the floor, looking for that stretch down here. In just a second, I'm just going to make it a little bit more dynamic, so just move it around a little bit. So keeping the hands on the floor, what I'd like you to do, legs might need to come in a little bit rather than stretching quite as much. Bring yourself over onto that other foot. I'm just going to switch from side to side. So the foot that you can put most of the pressure on, so for example my right foot here, the heels will lift on the floor, which is absolutely fine. But then try and put the other foot flat on the floor as you come across. So we're getting the hips opened up. So if you imagine that ball and socket joint around the hip, how much it opens up as you switch from one side to the other, as well as the knees as well. And the purpose of doing all this is just to try and get some blood flow going through all them big muscles in the legs. If we get some blood flow going through, we get them a little bit warmer, and it just makes it a little bit easier to stretch them and move them. Nice, so just go for 4 more, so to each side. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. And then just come down to seated. So from there, just going more directly to hamstrings. Pull one heel in close to your bum, reach down, turn the chest over that leg, and just reach forward towards the toes so you feel the stretch down the back of that hamstring. So for me at the moment, I've got my right leg straight, turn the chest over that right thigh, and lean forwards into it. I'm just going to hold it there for 10-15 seconds. Nice, and then swapping around legs. So we're going to pull right heel in towards the groin, turn over that left leg. So if you did my mobility workout last week, you remember me saying one side might feel a little bit tighter than the other, which is absolutely fine. For me, it's definitely this left leg just feels tighter than the right leg. So I feel like I can't quite get down just as low as it is on the right hand side. I'm just going to hold it there. Just going to do a couple of each side here. Nice, try and go a little further. Nice, and swapping over again. So leg comes in close, reach down towards that foot, pull yourself in, just trying to get chest down towards that thigh. Just holding there for 10, 15 seconds. Nice, and one more swap, bring it around to the side. Leg extends, push knee down to the floor. So it's one I quite often see people doing it, they'll let the knee come up, so they'll be like this, rather than pushing the knee to the floor. So just let the knee push down, so you fully extend the leg. Even if that means you can't get quite as far towards the toes, feel free to grab the ankle. Just make sure that leg stays straight and just gradually build in that range. Nice. From there, bring the flats of the feet together. Pop the elbows on the knees, and I just want to put a little pressure on the knees just to get a stretch on that inner thigh. So let them push outwards, a little stretch on the inner thigh. Just hold it there just for about 10-15 seconds. So we're basically just trying to work all the way around. If you imagine all the muscles around the hips and the tops of the thighs, that's what we're looking for. Just take a little pressure off, just a few seconds just to release, and then ease back in again. So pushing the heels together, knees push down towards the floor, and just hold it there for 10-15 seconds or so. Nice, guys. Easy there. Now, if you come onto your back, so if you lay down, flat on the back, and I'd like to place your left foot on top of your right knee, and then reach through and grab the back of the right thigh and pull it in towards you. So you should then feel a stretch down the back of the left glute, so left bum cheek basically. What I tend to do as well, just to deepen the stretch a little bit, is using that left elbow, I'll just push on that left thigh just ever so slightly, just to increase the stretch there. And we're just going to hold it there. Again, just 10-15 seconds, just get through the movement. And then swapping over. So we're going to go right ankle onto your left knee, reach through, grab the back of that left thigh. I'm going to use my right elbow to push my right thigh away. I'm just going to pull it in there as well. So feeling that stretch of the right glute, perhaps the right hamstring as well. Just depends on where your tightnesses are. You might feel it somewhere else, maybe even in the lower back ever so slightly. Let's go, one more each side. So left ankle, right knee, reach through, grabbing the back of your right thigh, pull it in. This time, can you just come a little bit further, so can you squeeze in a little more? I think I mentioned it last week, but quite often when people are stretching, they kind of pull the stretch, but they don't really try and develop and increase the intensity of it. They kind of pull it so they feel a little stretch and go, I'll just leave it there. Whereas in fact, to increase your flexibility, you just need to squeeze that a little bit more. It's like when you do your weights, you're always going to try and lift a heavier weight, or slow the tempo down, or increase the intensity one way. You've got to do the same stretching, just try and pull it that a little bit further, just to increase the stretch. Nice. And swapping over one more time, so right ankle, left knee, reach through, grab the back of the thigh, and pull it in. Just going to hold it for about 5-10 more seconds. Nice, guys. Release there. Cool. So staying on your back. So the next one is one of these exercises that I sometimes find, basically if you've got particularly clicky hips, it can be quite uncomfortable. So place both feet flat on the floor like I am. Lift your right leg up, and what I'd like you to do is make one big circle with that right leg. Just taking it round and round. So again, thinking about a ball and socket joint in the hip. And can we get that ball moving around to as full a range of motion as you can? So either put the hands on the floor, put them on your hips, just somewhere to help keep yourself balanced. Nice, and then swap direction. So if it does feel uncomfortable, just feel to place the feet on the floor and drop the knees wide, just to kind of get a movement around the hip joint without that uncomfortable, hopefully not pain in the hip, but that uncomfortable feeling. Nice, go 2 more. Nice, guys. I'm swapping over sides. So my right foot's gone flat on the floor now, just making big circles with the left. It's one of the things where you look at it, like, yeah, making a circle and realise it's more of a triangle than a circle. And also my hip clicking, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Every time I go around, it's like click, click. then change direction. But weirdly it does, no, maybe I spoke too soon. So weirdly it doesn't click on going the opposite direction. Let's go 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Nice, just rest on the floor. Just pull them in, just give it a second, because it's quite a tough exercise that one. And we'll do 1 more on each side. So when you're ready, feet go flat on the floor again. Extend the right leg. Let's go for big circles to begin. Nice, just going to go for about 8 to 10 in each direction. Nice, and swapping directions. Sweeping round and through. Nice guys, and swapping around legs, so left leg extends, big sweeping circle round. I said earlier guys, if you get any pain, any discomfort, just reduce that option where you put the feet on the floor and drop the knees apart, and swapping around legs, swapping direction even. Let's go 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Just give it a little stretch off, pull knees into chest. When you're ready, just roll up. Turn over onto your front and sit back into child's pose. So take the knees slightly apart. So knees just come apart slightly, and it just gives you somewhere to actually go when you lean forwards. So when you lean into child's pose, you can actually drop between your knees. If your knees are together, you usually feel like you can't get down there. So sit the bum back, reach the arms forwards, just hold it there. So trying to push the hips back. So if you look at kind of the angle at your hips and your knees, hopefully you've got your bum really close to the heels. And that'll just open up the hips a little bit more. And sweeping the hands round to the right hand side. Nice, and sweeping back to the centre, creeping forwards. And sweeping around to the left hand side. And bring it forwards. Nice guys, pulling it back up. Okay, the next one was, I actually find really challenging for the hips. It's called like frog pose. So what I like to do is take the feet a little wider, or the knees a little wider, and let the feet turn out. It's going to be like looking like a frog. So I don't know if you can see from where I'm at. So if I come here, turn the feet out, so in this pose, and I'm just going to sit the bum back, and I feel a stretch really deep down, like in the inner groin, so right at the top of that inner thigh there. Just hold it there. I'm just going to hold it there for 5, 10, 15 seconds. Just gradually get a little deeper, and when you're ready, just take a little bit of pressure off. It's one of them exercises, it's really hard, to be honest. And turn the feet out again, sit back into it, just feel like deep stretching there. So you really find this works if you take the knees a little bit wider and turn the toes out, so like they're pointing out to the sides, sitting back into it, and ease up. Just take 5 seconds off. Oh, it's brought a sweat on that one. It's a sign maybe I should do more of these. And we'll go same again. So knees apart, turn the feet out, and sitting back into it. Just holding there for 10, 15 seconds. Just keep holding, keep holding. And bring it back in. I'll be honest guys, we've been dreading that for the last 15 minutes. It's done now though. So now we're moving a little bit higher into the glutes. So if you put both legs out in front and then pop your right leg over the top of your left one, so it's quite a typical glute stretch this one. Then just kind of hug around that right knee and pull it in. So if it lifts off the floor, that's fine. I'm just going to pull it in so you feel a stretch down that right glute and just hold it in there. So for now, just keep the chest forwards, the left leg stays flat on the floor, and you're just hugging that right leg in towards your chest and your stomach. So just going for a stretch through that right glute. So we're going to do a couple of these and then a couple slightly differently as well. And hold in there. And swapping legs. So right leg goes flat, left leg over the top, hug that left leg in, and just hold that in there as well. So this time stretch through that left glute. Just going to keep holding for about 10-15 seconds. So feeling tight this side. So if it starts to feel too much at any point, just release the stretch a little bit. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, just squeeze back in again. Nice, guys. I'm just going to do one more on each side this way. So left leg goes out, right leg comes across, hugging it in. I feel like I can hear someone singing next door. For someone working in the unit next door, just singing along to themselves. Holding that. It's just 10-15 seconds each side for now. Nice. And swapping over. Last one of this variation. Try and get a good hug around the legs, try and get it in a little further. Usually find if I get the knee kind of in the elbow, it's just easier to hold it in there. Feels less like it's kind of pulling the skin off your arm as well from just trying to loosen itself. So it's 10-15 seconds. Nice, guys, and release it there. So the next one is very similar, but slightly different. So what I'd like you to do is pop the right leg across the top, but we're not going to hug it in. Instead, this time, pop the left elbow on the right knee, and then twist away from it. So try and push away. So you get a little bit of stretch through the hip, but you also get it through the back of the shoulder, and that torso as we rotate the spine as well. So hold it there, just 10-15 seconds. And similar to the one, we're going to do this twice on each side. And swapping over, so left leg comes across. I'm going to pop the right elbow on there and just twist into it. Nice crack from the shoulder. So try and keep the body upright. It's often tempting doing these, just to let yourself slump down. Just keep form strong, push away, lift the chest. Can you guys hear that as well? Can't figure out what you're singing though. And swapping over sides. So right leg comes across, left elbow on your right knee, and pull it across. That's just 5 seconds. Nice, guys, and one more swap. Bring it across, hold it in, lift the chest, squeeze round. Release that. Take a little roll off, just kind of get a little stretch of that upper back as well. So good news is we can come from another line now. So I've done quite a bit around the hips, so it's kind of going through the hips, but also through up into the upper body, the torso, the spine. What I like to do is bring both knees up to about 90 degrees at the knees and then sit over the hips. And it's a good tip for if ever you're doing any core work as well, guys. Whenever I'm doing this kind of position, if you feel like your knees are over your stomach, or if you could put your hand on your knees and push them away, they're too close. So the perfect distance, if you pop your hands on your knees, you should touch them, but you shouldn't be pushing them away. So they're nicely over the line of the hips. That just keeps a little more tension in the lower abs. So this is doing the work rather than just resting in there. And then, just because it looks like good form, try and keep about 90 degrees as well. From there, take the arms out to the side, let the knees drop over to the back of the room, and just hold it there. Now I tend to put my left arm, or whatever your arm is up the side of drop to, on top of that leg, just to squeeze in a little further and just get a little more rotation. But the most important thing is keep that shoulder blade on the floor, the one that's wanting to lift at the moment. Now if it feels okay, just take the stretch a little further by lifting that leg up and across. I'm just going to hold it there. So for me, I feel that stretch all the way from my pec that's on the floor, well, the right shoulder that's on the floor, all the way down the side of the body, in the hip,
and then down the side of that IT band on the outside of the leg as well. Nice. Swapping around, so bring it back to centre, dropping over to the front of the room now. I'm going to put my right hand on there, keep the left shoulder blade on the floor, and hold it in there. To increase the stretch a little bit, I'm just going to take that left leg a little bit higher. Just get a deeper stretch in there. Nice, reaching further across. Nice guys, I'm going to swap over sides again. So going over to the other side, bring the knees over, opposite shoulder blade stays flat on the floor. Just hold it in there. And bringing the leg up and further, just to increase the stretch. Get a little bit of click around the hip from me there. Nice. And bring it back to the other side again. Last one is this way. Knees drop over, take the opposite arm out, hold it across. Take the leg a little higher just to deepen the stretch. Nice guys, bring it in. Just bring these to chest, just hook it in a little bit just to release the back through the hips. And it's just rolling it out a little bit, just feels quite nice to stretch it out. Bring it over onto your front. Very, very last little bit. From there, we're just going to go onto all fours. What I like to do, we're going to go through a cat-cow position. So drop the chin into the chest and just arch the back. Let you push in the back up towards the ceiling to really squeeze the floor away. And then drop the chest, lift the chin, looking straight ahead of you. The back arches, the hips tilt, and the chest drops towards the floor. Rolling back again, chin tucks. Push the floor away, arch the back. And drop the chest, looking forwards, hips tilt back. And just bring it back to centre, rolling through, hips tip under, chin tucks. And final one, dropping down, lift the chin. Nice guys, and just bring it back to that neutral position, just kind of come out of it, hold it there. And guys, we are done. Week 2 finished. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you've, like every guys, if you've got any questions, feel free to add it in. I was speaking to someone in the group, what day am I recording this? Let's say last week, because it's actually about a week ago that I'm recording it versus when you're watching it. So I was speaking to someone last week, and they were asking about how often we should do mobility, and it's one of them things that there will be no harm in doing more of it. Especially for any blokes in the group, we are notoriously terrible for doing any kind of stretching, any kind of flexibility. So, because it was a bloke that asked me, if you're watching this, do more. And even for the ladies in the group that are generally, let's be honest, you're better at stretching than blokes are. And ladies generally have a little bit less muscle density, so generally find you more flexible anyway, and just due to hormones, you're generally more flexible as well. I'm going to talk a little bit later in the programme, but I talk about the kind of 3 aspects of health. I talk about fitness, cardio, strength and flexibility. And it just depends where you sit on the verge of, do you want to be fitter, do you want to be stronger, or do you want to be more flexible, to how much you do of each one. So I was going to say, if you were to do 6 sessions a week, for example, you're going to do 2 cardio, 2 strength and 2 flexibility for just all-round health. If you want to be more flexible, you maybe go, do you know what, in that case, I'm going to do 1 cardio, 1 strength and 4 flexibility. Or you could even be like, right, I'm going to do 1 cardio, 2 strength and 3 flexibility. So you just switch that ratio depending on where your priorities lie. So yeah, there's no right or wrong amount. If you can do more, even better. I often think stretching mobility, that's why I usually try to use no equipment. You can do it at home, you don't need to be in a gym or anything like that. You can just do it at home each week.
several times a week, it'd be even better. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave you to it because you might be doing this on Friday night and I'm sure you want to go and have a glass of wine. So I'll see you soon. Bye.